All right, we've got the first coat on. I think we can let this dry for a couple hours, and then we can put the second one on according to the can. And then we can go on to part two, which is the peel and stick floor in our little room here. And bear in mind, this is all being done in one day and costs less than $100. This time, we're going to put some peel and stick floor tile down. We've got a small bathroom here, and I want to take a minute and show you how we do that. And hopefully you'll pick up a tip or two. First thing we do, though, is get this door out of our way. This is a bathroom door that is it's going to be in our way. You know, get down to the bottom. So we're going to pop it loose. We're going to take the door off. These are old doors. There's something called a door nail right here. You hammer and you knock that loose, and you pull it out. Pull the bottom one first, though. Here's what it looks like. Then hold the door to the top one, and the door will come off. Okay, so the door nail fits in there, and it just sits there dead as the door nail, and the hinges spin back and forth. Anyway, get the door out of your way. Also, the floor was kind of waxed. It's a one-sheet vinyl piece, and I'm going to use some trisodium phosphate solution with gloves here to clean or degloss the floor, make it so this peel and stick tile is really going to stick. I've had some experience where they're kind of stingy with the glue on this peel and stick tile, so you want to make sure your surface is going to have that gripping power. That means a little bit rough, okay? Not glossy, not shiny, but deglossed, and if you have to sand it even to make it rough. No dust, no dirt, and it will really stick once stuck. You don't want it to come loose. All right, let's get busy. I've got my knee pads. I've got the few tiles laying here. One of the most important things about a floor tile job, especially with these square tiles like this, is setting up the job or laying it out. This is a good pattern, incidentally, for this because the floor is a little rough. If it's got a pattern in it, you won't notice that. That's one of the many things about an old house is things are not always square, and if you make them square, they'll actually look crooked. So you got to go with what's here. So with that, a lot of folks starting out on this will simply go, hey, I'll just put these tile in. I'll start here, you know, with a whole tile like that, you know, and I'll just go right straight across, right? Well, no, that's not it, because here's what's going to happen. When you get over here, in this case, it wouldn't be too bad. You've got almost a half a tile there. But almost invariably, you'll be going along, and when you try to make a square tile fit against an existing wall, you'll get so far into it and you realize, oh, this wall is not straight, or my first tile is not parallel, and therefore I am off. So the best approach is to look at, you know, what lines are here. We've got a line along the front of here, and we've got this wall, and we've got the bathtub. So basically, what you do, just to visualize it, is split the difference. So what you want to avoid too is having to cut a real thin sliver of a tile, because it'll invariably come loose, and it won't look very good either, and they're hard to fit in. So try to fix it so you won't have any real small cuts to do. So I would say probably about like that. You're going to have to cut every tile. That's just how it is. So probably something like that is where you want to go. That way you got about a 4-inch strip here. And the smaller they are, the harder, the easier they are to come loose, okay? The bigger the tile piece on your trim, around your edges, the more likely it is to stay put. Especially with this, again, this peel and stick where there's no what they call mastic. 1 gallon, and you goop and you put it out and you spread it on with a trowel. And then you put the tile on that, okay? This has already got the sticky mastic on the back. You peel the paper off and it sticks right down. But again, I've had, there's some are more reliable than others, but I don't know what to expect here with this one. But I'm going for least possible screw-ups. And I'm going to cut every piece so I know that it's going to work. I'm not going to have any small slivers to deal with. And then, again, on the other end, you got a similar situation. What's going to happen down at this end and this end? So you just measure it and divide by 12 and find a number that's going to give you about half a tile on either end, or at least, what is it? So this is 8 feet. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hold that one in about about 8 inches. And that will work. So let's go ahead and measure from here. We're going to position our first tile. I like it right about here, I think. So 42 inches, that would give me, that's good. All right, so once we decided where our first tile is going to be, we're going to make a line on the floor. Let me mark that here. And then we'll just, whatever that is, we're going to mark the floor. So it's 8 1/4 inches. Make a mark. And all your tiles will work off that mark. Once you get that first tile in, you're committed. That's the pattern you're going to be using. So that's kind of how you start off. It's a little bit difficult to explain, but let me go ahead and I'll lay these down and you'll see kind of how it works out. So once you've got the first couple down, you just have a little design on the back. They recommend that you put one down and then you rotate them, because the patterns don't always match up exactly. So you just take them and line them up. And stick them down. Peel the paper off. Let's go right along with it. More stick than peel here. These feel like they have a pretty good amount of glue on them. Get them together pretty tight. You're going to make sure that these things are at room temperature for 48 hours prior to applying them, because they will expand and contract. You want to make sure that they're at their natural size when you put them down, because if it's too cold, again, they'll contract, and hot, they expand, they get a little bigger. So you put them in when they're too cold and they're too tight together, they could buckle. So get them at room temperature, maybe whatever the package says. Probably 65 degrees will work. And you go right along with it. Okay, I'll show you how to cut them, measure them. So, once you've got the floor laid out, all the big pieces, you have to fit the other ones in. And the way you do that, it's got to go this way. So you want to cut, you flip it around this direction. And then what you're going to do is mark it on the edge, on each side, where it's to be cut. Okay. Then take a straight edge. You should probably cut through the front, but I'm going to do it through the back because it's not going to matter much on this particular type of tile. Score it and pop it. You can cut it again on the other side. And there you go. Now, before you stick it down there, make sure it fits. Yeah, it's going to fit perfect. So you peel that off. Now what you've got is the cut edge is against the wall, right? See, the cut edge is against the wall, and the good factory edge is against the other tile. See, that's how you make that work. And you do the same thing. Another one. Again, hold it. I'm going to put it, it's going to look like you want this tile to be here, so I'm just going to flip it over, hold it in place. We're going to mark it. We're going to cut it. I've got a little piece of cardboard here to keep from cutting through into the other tile. And then score it, not too hard. You can always make the first cut easy. You can always cut it a little harder next time. And that should fit in there. Should have tried it before I peel it off, but I'm pretty confident it's going to fit, which it does. Okay, that's how you do that. So we've got that little section in, and we run it on up, and you can see for the other end, we're going to have about a 6-inch piece to cut, which is good. And I think this is going to work out fine. Okay, fitting a piece in up here, and I have to do a little trimming on it. Let me show you. There's that little green thing that's sticking out. I have to cut a little notch. So what I'm going to do is I've cut it to the general size. This is the factory edge. But it's not going to fit. I'm going to have to notch that right there. So I'm going to mark where it's going to go. I'm going to mark that. And then it's going to cut a little notch for that right there. So what I'm going to do is heat this stuff up. You can heat it with a hairdryer or a torch or whatever. And then, while it's still warm, you can trim it with a little, kind of a hefty kitchen scissors. Just having to cut a small amount off. Come at it from this direction. Just cut about 1/8 inch off this thing. Just cut a little off. Now, let's try it before we peel it off. Yeah. So then you peel the stuff off. And there's my notch. Line it up nice and tight. And then let it fall into position. There. This next piece has a little indentation or curve here. So we cut generally to the size it's going to be, and then we have to scribe it. Similar to what you would do with a compass. Now, ideally you'd use a compass. So to make this thing fit, it's going to have to follow the contour of this thing here. And I've only got a 1/4 inch, about the 1/4 inch to play with. So it's going to work. So I'm just going to scribe this to follow that contour. I'm going to try cutting it without heating it up. I think it's thin enough to do that. Yeah, it works fine. So, just trimming it down to match the contour of the tub. Let's see if it fits. Oh yeah. Make sure there's nothing in your way. I cleaned this floor real well. First, the deglossed it. It's still pretty shiny, but I think it's fine. Then you place it, and there it follows the contour. Okay, here's the finished product. All the corners worked out. The paint is all finished. And there you go. Looks pretty good. Here behind the door. We'll fit it in. It'll look straight. That's how you do it. Take care and be safe.